They ask you what cream you're using. They want to know your secret. But what they don't understand is your glow didn't come from a bottle, baby. It came from the battles you survived without bitterness. There is something about a person who has chosen peace. Real peace, the kind that's earned, not inherited, that makes them look untouched by the mess of this world. It's not about flawless skin or a wrinkle-free forehead. It's in the way they walk into a room with calm in their chest and a light behind their eyes. It's in the way their voice doesn't rise with the noise around them. And people wonder, how does she stay so youthful, so vibrant, so composed? The answer is simple. She has learned to put her peace above her pride and her spirit above her ego. Petty arguments, toxic back and forths, holding grudges, proving points, these are the thieves of your peace, and over time they begin to wear you down, not just emotionally, but physically, spiritually, even cellularly. A heart constantly caught in conflict cannot rest. A mind addicted to drama cannot recover. When your nervous system stays on high alert, your body starts to age with every fight you didn't need to have. And too many people mistake that tension for strength, but strength is not found in the clapbacks and comebacks. True strength is in the restraint, the maturity, the intentional walking away from what does not deserve your attention. Peace is not passivity. It is protection. Protection of your time, your energy, your soul's rhythm. There comes a moment in life when you understand that not every insult needs an answer. Not every opinion deserves an audience. Not every confrontation is worth your contribution, because sometimes the most powerful response is your silence. The most commanding position is your absence. And the greatest form of self-respect is refusing to sacrifice your stillness just to win a fight no one remembers a week later. Pettiness is cheap, it comes easy. All it takes is a bruised ego and a few idle minutes. But peace is earned. Peace is cultivated. Peace is chosen every single time you want to react, but decide to rise instead. It's chosen every time you let go of the last word. Every time you say, I'm not going to carry this anger. Every time you breathe through the urge to explain yourself to someone who's already committed to misunderstanding you. Peace is discipline, and that discipline builds a glow no highlighter can fake. People who radiate youthfulness often carry less, not more. Less resentment, less defensiveness, less urgency to be right, less weight from old wounds. They've learned that internal conflict shows up on the face. It hardens the jaw, tightens the skin, furrows the brow, and when you choose peace, you soften. You loosen your grip on what doesn't belong to you. You remove yourself from circles where petty competition and comparison are disguised as camaraderie. You start to bloom in solitude because you've created a sanctuary inside yourself that doesn't need external validation to stay beautiful. And that's what most don't understand. Peace is an anti-aging force. When you are no longer living in reaction mode, your body rests, your cells repair, your heart beats in rhythm again, your sleep deepens, your breath returns to its natural pace, and slowly you come back to yourself, not just mentally or emotionally, but physically. The glow people see, it's your nervous system saying thank you. The ease in your laugh, that's the sound of someone no longer fighting battles that were never theirs to begin with. So when people look at you and wonder how you keep your joy, how you've managed to preserve your light in a world that loves to dim it, know that it's not a secret potion or a magic diet. It's the daily, deliberate, soul-defending decision to put peace before pettiness, to protect your spirit like it's the most precious thing you own, because it is. You want to know the truth behind that soft glow you carry, the kind that turns heads, not because of what you wear, but because of what lives in your presence. It's joy, not the kind you fake in public while you're crumbling in private, not the performance of happiness the world demands from women who are tired but still expected to smile. No, I'm talking about the quiet, rooted, unwavering joy that doesn't depend on a mood, a man, or a moment. The kind of joy that moisturizes your spirit from the inside out. Joy is the balm, the medicine, the daily act of choosing to find light even when your sky has turned gray. And baby, it shows. It shows in your posture, your energy, the way you hold conversations, and the way you hold yourself. Joy adds softness to your edges and strength to your core. It keeps the years from settling too deep into your bones. Because when you wake up with joy, even when life is heavy, your body responds. Your heart opens, your skin breathes, your soul exhales. So many people confuse joy with excitement or pleasure, but joy isn't just laughter in good times. It's the sacred refusal to let life's hardships steal your softness. It's looking at your pain and still saying, "Yet I rise." It's dancing in your kitchen barefoot even though your bills are late. It's lighting a candle for yourself when no one else shows up. It's walking through loss with tears in your eyes and gratitude in your chest. That kind of joy is revolutionary. That kind of joy keeps you young because it keeps you alive. When you carry joy, your face remembers how to rest. Your eyes don't dart around in fear. Your jaw doesn't clench from holding back too many unspoken words. Your shoulders don't hunch from the weight of proving your worth. Joy whispers to every part of you that it's safe now, that it's okay to be, to breathe, to belong. And in that safety, your cells respond, your skin shines, your laugh lines become a map of endurance, not exhaustion. Let me tell you something. When you make joy a daily ritual, it becomes your emotional skincare. It hydrates the dry places in your soul where resentment used to live. It softens the calluses left by heartbreak. It plumps up the confidence that was deflated by rejection. And unlike products that wear off by evening, joy stays. It moves with you, walks beside you, stands in the mirror with you. It doesn't wash away when the world throws its worst at you. It rises with you, insists on beauty, and reminds you that even now you are allowed to smile. Joy is not naive. It's not ignoring pain. It's the conscious decision to not let pain define your posture. You've known storms. You've cried into your pillow and sat in parking lots too tired to drive home. But you didn't let that darkness turn you cold. You found joy even when you weren't looking, in a child's laughter, in a song that knows your story, in a breeze that kissed your skin just right, in the strength you didn't know you had until life demanded it. And this joy, it makes you magnetic. People feel it before they see it. They can't put their finger on it, but they know there's something different about you. They ask, "What's your secret?" expecting a cream or a routine, but what you give them instead is a truth they weren't ready for. You moisturize your soul with joy every single day. You don't wait for joy to find you. You create it, protect it, and let it seep into every part of your being. And that's why, even as the years pass, you don't just look young, you live young. There comes a time in a woman's life when she no longer offers herself on every altar of approval. When she stops bending over backwards just to keep people comfortable in rooms where her spirit no longer fits. That time is sacred. Because when she reaches that place, she begins to understand that her energy is not cheap. Her peace is not up for trade. Her presence is not a convenience store, open 24 hours for anyone with empty hands and heavy problems. No, she has learned that her energy is sacred oil, and she no longer pours it into cups that only know how to spill. You see, sacred oil was never meant for the masses. It was never meant to be wasted on drama, handed to strangers, or thrown into fires hoping to keep others warm. Sacred oil is precious. It's what keeps your soul from cracking, your mind from crumbling, your body from collapsing under the weight of emotional debt. And when you finally realize just how divine that oil is, you begin to protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Every phone call you ignore is not rudeness, it's wisdom. Every boundary you draw is not rejection, it's redemption. Every time you say no without explanation, you're not being cold, you're being conscious. You've lived long enough to know what drains you. You've given enough of yourself to learn what betrayal feels like dressed in fake affection. You've entertained enough conversations that left you tired, entered enough rooms that dimmed your shine, answered enough messages from people who never asked how you were really doing. And now you're reclaiming your oil. You're not stingy, you're selective. There's a difference. You know that energy is your currency, and you refuse to keep spending it on what does not multiply your peace. Some folks won't like the version of you that protects her oil. That's because they were never meant to have it in the first place. They were drawn to your light, but never learned how to honor your flame. They liked the access, but never paid the cost. And now that you're charging a price, now that you've raised the standard, they fall silent, offended that you finally remembered your worth. But oh, how it shows. It shows in the way your skin looks rested, in the way your eyes no longer search for acceptance, in the way your laughter isn't forced and your silence isn't fearful. You've unplugged from people who only know how to take. You've stopped explaining your peace to those who benefit from your chaos. And as a result, your body has begun to thank you. Your nervous system is healing. Your mornings are lighter. Your breath is deeper. Your heart is not racing to rescue everyone who forgot to carry their own healing. You protect your energy now like the heirloom it is. You pour only into what pours back. You give only when your cup runneth over, not when it's barely full. You don't attend every argument you're invited to. You don't show up where your soul feels small. You know that your peace is your responsibility, and so is your joy. That means you don't apologize for disappearing. You don't explain your solitude. You don't justify the peace you've worked so hard to build. You have made a home inside yourself, and not everyone deserves a key. You have learned that sacred oil cannot be shared with hands that do not honor it. It is reserved for healing, for creating, for elevating, not for proving, pleasing, or performing. When you treat your energy like the divine essence it is, life responds in kind. The right people are drawn to you not because of your availability, but because of your authenticity. And that authenticity, that unshakable presence, is the most radiant, youthful, and powerful glow a woman can wear. There is a love that lifts, and there is a love that erases. You used to think love was about how much of yourself you could give away, how much silence you could swallow, how many sacrifices you could stack up like trophies of devotion. You were taught that love was measured in how little of yourself you could keep. But time, pain, and the sacred voice inside of you taught you otherwise. You began to understand that real love, holy love, soul-deep love doesn't require your disappearance. It does not demand your shrinking. It never asks you to abandon yourself just to be worthy of staying. You've loved hard, that's clear. The kind of love that shows up even when it's tired. The kind that overextends, overforgives, overperforms. You know what it feels like to give all the light in your lantern just to keep someone else warm. But that love cost you pieces of yourself you didn't know you were selling. Until one day, you looked in the mirror and couldn't recognize the woman staring back at you. Her smile wasn't gone, but it had changed. Her eyes weren't dim, but they had grown quiet. That's when you knew it wasn't love if you had to lose yourself to keep it. So now you love differently. You love with boundaries, not barriers. You open your heart, but not your identity. You extend grace, but not your soul's stability. Because you have learned that your selfhood is not a bargaining chip. It is the foundation. If love can't stand on the full truth of who you are, your voice, your vision, your values, it was never love to begin with. It was possession dressed in passion. It was control dressed in concern. It was performance with a mask on. Now you love from a place of wholeness, not hunger. You no longer seek validation in someone else's hands. You no longer wait for a compliment to feel beautiful or a call to feel important. You no longer rearrange your desires just to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You've discovered that the most divine romance begins with the one you have with yourself. And when you honor that first, every other connection must follow its lead. You've stopped chasing people who confuse your strength with stubbornness, who mistake your independence for distance. You know that being rooted in yourself doesn't mean you're unavailable. It means you're not willing to sink just to keep someone else afloat. You're not afraid to walk away if being loved means being less. And that power, it's not loud. It doesn't shout. It simply moves differently. It doesn't beg, it chooses. It doesn't cling, it blesses and releases. You've learned how to be in love and still be in alignment. You've learned that partnership should feel like expansion, not exile. That the right love will mirror your worth, not make you question it. That it's okay to need, but not to need so much that you forget how to stand. You've learned that love is not found in losing your fire, but in protecting your flame. And now when you love, it is soft but sovereign. It flows from fullness, not lack. You show up with both tenderness and truth. You're not afraid to hold someone close while still holding yourself, because you know that losing yourself is too high a price to pay for anyone's affection. You are not a half waiting to be made whole. You are already whole, already complete, already crowned in the quiet glory of self-knowing. And when you love from this place, this brave, balanced, beautiful place, you attract people who don't just want your presence, but your essence. People who see you fully and love you fully because you first dared to do the same for yourself. There is a quiet miracle in the act of giving thanks, not just when everything is blooming, not only when the sun is high and the doors are opening, but even when the night is long, when the winds are harsh, when you're holding more questions than answers. Gratitude in its purest form is not an emotional reaction, it is a spiritual discipline. It is the art of choosing light even when shadows fall heavy. It is the medicine that softens grief, the anchor that steadies the storm, the balm that heals what bitterness can never reach. When a woman learns the sacred rhythm of gratitude, she walks differently. She is no longer rushed by what she lacks. She is no longer enslaved by what others possess. She has trained her eyes to see the abundance hiding in the ordinary. And because of that, her soul becomes light, not naive, not blind, but free. Free from comparison, free from complaint, free from the weight of always chasing what is just out of reach. Gratitude does not make your life easier, but it makes the weight easier to bear. It begins in small places. In the quiet morning, when you wake up and realize your lungs are still drawing air. In the sip of water that cools your throat. In the arms that hold you, even if they are your own. In the sound of your own breath reminding you that you are still here, still rising, still capable of beginning again. You start to see that gratitude is not about denying the hard parts. It's about refusing to let the hard parts define the whole story. Gratitude is rebellion in a world that feeds on dissatisfaction. Everywhere you look, someone is selling you a reason to feel empty, a reason to feel less than, a reason to question your journey, your body, your timeline. But gratitude quiets that noise. It reminds you that you already have what some are still praying for. It roots you in sufficiency. It grounds you in presence. And when you are grounded, you cannot be shaken by trends, by titles, by temporary trials. Your spirit grows strong in softness. There are women who have walked through hell and still smile with their whole face, not because they've forgotten the fire, but because gratitude kept them from being consumed by it. They've learned to say thank you for the lesson, even when the lesson broke their heart. They've learned to say thank you for the delay, even when the waiting made them weary. They've learned that gratitude doesn't cancel pain, but it gives pain a purpose. It transforms suffering into wisdom. It turns wounds into altars. And let us not confuse gratitude with forced positivity. This is not about pretending. This is not about ignoring what needs to be felt. Real gratitude lives beside the tears. It walks with the weight. It stands in the rubble and still says, something beautiful will grow here. It is a choice made over and over again, especially when it is hardest to choose. It is the whispered thanks in the middle of the storm, the quiet surrender that turns despair into devotion. When your spirit is light, not because life has been gentle, but because you've chosen not to carry what you were never meant to hold, that is power. When you can look around your life and find one thing, just one, to whisper your thanks for, that's how the light begins to return. That's how you stay soft in a world that wants to harden you. That's how you lift your head, not because you have everything, but because you've recognized what you already hold. Gratitude will save you, it will raise you, it will clothe your spirit in strength and simplicity. It will wash your eyes until you see again. It will remind you that even in the absence of what you wanted, life has still been giving. It's always been giving. And when you realize that, your heart no longer strains under the weight of not yet. It settles in the sweetness of still enough. There comes a moment when your spirit gets tired of holding on to things that only know how to leave splinters in your soul. A sacred moment when you finally unclench your fists, not in defeat, but in divine release. You stop begging closed doors to open. Stop watering dead plants hoping they'll bloom again. Stop bending yourself in the shape of someone else's approval. You rise, not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned to let go of what was never meant to stay. What wasn't meant for you no longer has permission to live in your heart rent-free. And in that letting go, you don't break, you breathe. It's not that you didn't try. You tried with all the hope and hunger in your being. You prayed, stayed, cried, forgave, rebuilt. You believed in their potential, saw the light in places even they refused to see. You gave grace, gave space, gave time. But you finally realized that love is not supposed to be a sacrifice of your sanity. That loyalty is not measured by how long you can carry something that keeps wounding you. That healing doesn't happen by dragging your heart through glass just to prove you cared. Letting go wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. It wasn't abandonment. It was alignment. You stopped trying to resuscitate what was already gone. You stopped trying to earn love that should have been freely given. You stopped staying in places where your silence was louder than your presence. And it hurt, yes. It stretched something deep inside you, but in that pain, something sacred was born, your freedom. You no longer confuse letting go with failure. You see now that some chapters must end for your soul to exhale. Some people were lessons, not life partners. Some paths were detours, not destinations. And while the world may not have clapped for your courage, your soul surely did. Because every time you let go of what wasn't meant, you made room for what is. Now you walk with a quieter mind. You don't rush to fix what isn't yours to carry. You don't chase closure from those who communicate in absence. You don't reopen wounds just to make someone else comfortable. You've learned that peace is more precious than promises, that solitude is not emptiness. It is the sanctuary where your soul recovers. And when you finally stop picking at the scabs of what once was, the wound begins to heal in truth. Letting go does not mean you stop loving. It means you stop breaking yourself in the name of that love. It means you honor the past without dragging it into your future. It means you bow to the wisdom of endings, knowing they make space for beginnings. You still have love to give, but now it's offered with discernment. Now it's wrapped in boundaries, guided by spirit, rooted in wholeness.